Welcome to Consume Content, where we help you find the best content to consume. I'm Josh, and this is Matt.
I'm Matt.
Today we'll be discussing Perry Mason, the remake on HBO.
I love Ted Lasso. This is the show where we talk about Ted Lasso.
No, Perry Mason,
This
different.
is the show I created to talk about Ted Lasso.
No, we've talked about Ted Lasso. Okay, maybe we'll talk about Ted Lasso again. I have to watch it still. And remember, I know I don't have Apple TV Plus yet. I should just steal it.
We should give each other
Uh-huh.
I don't know, like a card, a red card or something. I've
A
been
red
watching too
card.
much Ted Lasso.
Uh-huh.
But we should give each other. It's almost like a veto. But
Yeah.
it's like I have one thing
Mm-hmm.
I can make you watch. You have to watch it. One
Okay.
thing we talked about on this show.
Okay. I like that.
Maybe.
But then how would we enforce? Oh, well, I visit you. I go over to your place, so that's how you can get me to watch. Yeah, that's how we do it. Like when we hang out, that's when we'll
Good.
pull out the veto. I'm sure there's a better word for it,
The
but
non-veto.
the non-veto, the Vito Corleone. And remember, folks, if you want to join the discussion, jump in our Discord server called the Group Chat. It is linked in the description of this episode, and it's linked in the description of every episode. I relink it every time with fresh links. They should all work. None of them should expire. They're all in there. Please, please say something. Anything at all. But today we're talking about Perry Mason, right? It's a
We can
fresh
call
ad.
it the Michael.
The Michael. What do you mean?
The Michael Corleone.
The Michael Corleone. But Vito Corleone.
Exactly. It's not a veto. So
It's a Mike. Oh, it's a Michael. You son of a bitch. You
There's a
bastard.
third brother, isn't there?
There,
Who's
yeah,
the
there's
third brother's
there,
name?
Vito's the dad.
Wait,
Yeah.
really?
Yeah, Vito.
Okay.
It's Vito Corleone, Sonny Corleone,
Sonny, that's right.
Alfredo Corleone. No, wait, not Alfredo. Yeah, Alfredo, right?
Is it? And then Michael.
And then Michael, the youngest, the baby, who went to war.
I feel like we have to call it the Michael. It'll
Yeah,
just
the Michael.
confuse anyone who ever hears about it.
The Michael card. Anyway,
All
so
right,
Perry
Josh,
Mason.
We're doing a Michael.
We're doing a Michael. But anyway, Perry
This-
Mason, which what?
This is one of those times, one of
Uh-huh.
those rare times, I know absolutely nothing, not a single thing other than the title.
Okay. Good for me. Oh, I'm out of focus. Oh, okay, I'm back. Okay.
Calm down, you got too excited.
So Perry Mason is in old show, very old show. Let me Google it actually. Let me take advantage of this desktop scene, right? So Perry Mason. Perry Mason is a very old TV show about a lawyer, a criminal defense lawyer, right? One of the old ones, oldies but goodies, right? Perry Mason, 1957 through 1966, right? The cases of master criminal defense attorney handling the most difficult cases in the aid of the innocent, right? Now, I've not
No
seen.
wonder you like it.
I love me a crime show. Love me a crime show, right?
And a period show.
And a period show. Love it, right? I should watch the original to see what it's like, but the new one I've seen the first season. I'm in the middle of season 2 right now, and boy, is it great! It is just really good because it's dark, it's serious, the characters are great. Oh my god. So let me pull up the info so I can give you the casting. So if you watch The Americans, if you love The Americans, it's starring the same lead actor, Matthew Rise or Riz or Rise. I don't know his name. I don't know how to pronounce his last name. But Reese. Is it? Okay.
It is.
It is. So yeah, so it's starring Matthew Reese, right? And he plays the titular. I don't know what titular means, but he plays the titular Perry Mason.
It means he has titties.
Titular. No, that's not what that means. Titular.
It means
No.
he's in the title. It's whatever the title is.
Okay, relating to having the nature of or constituting a title. Okay, existing in name only, nominal. Great. But anyway, so Perry Mason. Oh, that's the original. Perry Mason, it's just really good. It's God. It's set in the into 1930s, right? Depression era Los Angeles, right? So Los Angeles is still pretty much a small town.
Wait.
What? What?
So we're just playing that game.
Yes, it is
Press
L.A. Noir.
press
Yes,
X to doubt. Yeah.
it is L.A. Noir, but you're playing as a criminal defense attorney instead of a cop moving amongst the different police departments or interdepartments of the police department.
So together, it's Law and Order.
Dun dun. Yes. But Perry Mason, I need to watch the original, so I can't really compare it to the original because I've never seen it. But this iteration of Perry Mason, what I can tell you, it is about that classic. I mean, people use the movie L.A. Confidential to describe this genre, right? If it's a crime show in L.A., it has to do with corruption, just like deep-seated corruption relating to money and murder and secrets that nobody wants uncovered, and secrets that will never be uncovered. In fact, I think that's sort of like the key element here with the type of LA Confidential noir's case versus any other case that, or any other crime drama that takes place in another city, because it's just, is it unique? But it feels unique to LA crime noir as opposed to like New York crime noir or Chicago crime noir or just East Coast crime noir in general. And
Yeah,
what's up?
I feel like when it's not for depression era stuff, if it's not on the East Coast, it's in LA.
Yeah.
If it's something in America.
No one gives a shit about anywhere else on the West Coast, just Los Angeles
Well, I mean that's
and Santa Barbara.
I think there's a reason for that, right? Like what other areas were there? Where else? I guess San Francisco, but where
San Francisco,
else
yeah.
was something happening at the time?
Really, just San Francisco, maybe Sacramento, maybe. That's the state capital. But not really. Nothing happens in Sacramento.
Not until Arnold gets there.
Nope. That'd be a show. That would be a show. Oh, when's that going to be a show? That's going to be a show on Hulu. That's got to be.
Right?
It's got to be a show on
Hasn't
Hulu.
he had biopics made about him?
No. Maybe not
Well,
big
about
ones.
Arnold for sure, but not about him as a governor. Like it doesn't
yeah.
focus on that part of his life.
Yeah, that would be interesting. That would be. I would watch that.
Can I tell you real quick something
What?
I heard about him?
What?
And it's known. I saw this in like a talk show clip. But when Arnold was governor, I think Fallon asked him the question, or someone, what's something you did that you shouldn't have, or like some rule you broke, something you knew you shouldn't have done as governor? And he was talking about some legislature that was coming across his desk, like a state congressman or something, or a representative was putting forward a new law or a bill, and Arnold was just just definitely opposed to it, but the guy putting it up was he didn't like him. He's just a real class act,
Yeah.
So Arnold writes his response, and he's a governor. He writes it out. It's an official, polite, just a statement. But if you follow the first letter of every line or first letter of every sentence, it spells out "fuck you."
Oh my god! Of course it
and
does.
then and then it's a public statement. So journalists call him out. It's like, hey, governor, did you know this? Did you know you wrote that it wrote it out like this? It ended up saying this. He's like, no, I had no idea.
I did not know I wrote that such a thing.
I would never.
Never. Oh my god. Love the governor. The governor. Well, I'm not familiar with any of his policies. I just love the concept of the governor.
Yeah. I remember when he got elected, and it was this whole big stink, and it happens. Ronald Reagan was president.
When did he run? Right? When was he a governor?
It's
right?
2008, I think.
Governor. How do you spell Schwarzenegger?
Yes.
There it is. Yeah. Schwarzenegger. Governor Schwarzenegger.
Schwarzenegger.
Political career. Arnold Schwarzenegger becomes governor of California. 2003. How old was I in 2003? I was 10.
So he was governor during
Yeah,
2008. By
because
the time we got to 2008.
for some reason in my mind, I think that he was governor before I knew the difference between Republicans and Democrats. Like before I knew what political parties were, right? And I wouldn't have learned that in the 5th grade. Nobody taught me. Okay, maybe my 5th grade teacher did teach me. I just wasn't paying attention.
Someone taught you.
Hope someone taught me. I figured it out eventually. I had to figure it out. It's all right.
But,
But Perry Mason.
Yeah,
Go.
it's California.
It's California.
It's laws. It's crime.
Crime, law and order, mainly order in the form of crime, less law manipulated to cover up crimes. That's really what it's about. Like it's about rich people or powerful people having secrets, and there's a crime that occurs. Hollywood
Play a role.
No, actually, not in the first 2 seasons. The second season is halfway through. The first season is about a church, one particular church, right? And there is all I'll say about the first season. It's about a missing child's case, right? There's a child kidnapping. That's how the season starts off, and the crime, this crime and the people who are the face of the crime, right? There's something deeper going on. There's other powers at play that sort of resulted in this child being kidnapped, right? Other people had plans to do things, to make money, to commit crimes, right? And along the way, this kid ends up being kidnapped. And there's not a child actor, it's a baby. It's a baby that's kidnapped, right? And
A baby.
yeah, so this crime occurs, the kidnapping occurs with a baby, and Perry Mason, he's still an investigator. He's still a private eye. He's not an attorney yet, right? So season 1 is about him becoming the criminal defense attorney that that his character is famous as, right? And he has to be crafty. He has to play dirty, just like the corrupt cops and the corrupt politicians and the criminals in the city of Los Angeles.
Is he, like, on his way to becoming a lawyer?
Yes and no. He works. He's a private investigator who specifically works for a lawyer who is played by why am I forgetting his name? Lord Farquaad. What is John Lithgow? Yeah, Lithgow. John Lithgow.
So he's Jessica Jones.
He's Jessica Jones. He starts off as Jessica Jones, just as much an alcoholic as Jessica Jones, right? Just as much someone who like self-punishes, right? Just as much, same sort of complex as Jessica Jones, but it's 1932. He's separated from his wife and child, right? He's about to lose his family farm, what's up?
Does this take place during Prohibition, or is that too late?
When does Prohibition over? Hold on a second.
Wasn't it like right around the turn of the century?
I think Prohibition's over by this point, because they don't talk about that.
In the 20s.
Updated. Let's see here.
Yeah, it must not have been.
Yeah, began in 1920, right? Ends in 1933. So yeah, this is like literally the end of Prohibition. Like the show starts right at the end. But basically, yeah, that's how that works. And this show, as opposed to, I'm pretty confident because of TV of the era of the 50s and 60s, every episode was a different case. Pretty confident that was the case. Perry Mason, the new show, is not like this. The whole season is about one case, one long trial that gets complicated. There's people at play. He's trying to defend the innocent, or who he believes is innocent, and a lot of things happen. A lot of people get in the way, and everybody has their sort of reason for doing the horrible things that they're doing, or just fighting as hard as they are. And it's just a good show. Just a good show about a guy who's just really Perry Mason is actually he's an altruistic character who's constantly frustrated and angry that the world is not a better place. Like that's really what his problem is. His problem is that he has a problem with everybody. And there's these other characters in his life who have their own agendas, and like John Lithgow's character, who's his sort of mentor, right?
Excuse me.
What's up?
Lord Farquaad.
Lord Farquaad, who's his mentor. Let me see if I can find the. Yeah, Juliet Rylance is his co-star. She's the former secretary of John Lithgow, who is the criminal defense attorney, and she herself is on her way up to becoming an attorney herself. And so she works with Mason to put all the pieces together, where he is. And this is sort of, they comment on this. It is sort of like your typical, he's rough around the edges, and she's the sharp tool. She's like the surgical, she takes the surgical approach. But Perry Mason, being the private investigator, he discovers the evidence. He goes out, finds all the pieces, and he comes up with theories, but they're not quite good. They're not quite great yet. And she really straightens everything out. She straightens everything out and gets it going and makes sure everybody's on that the team is on the right path, which is why she's fighting so hard to be an attorney within her own right. But it's 1933 or 1932. So there's a lot of people.
It's Jessica Jones.
It's Jessica Jones. But if Jessica Jones had like somebody competent constantly working with her to keep her to make sure that everybody's on track. It is important to note that this character also has their own life aside from Perry Mason. Like this character, what is her character's name? Her character, Della Street. Weird name. And so she's not a mother figure or a authoritative figure to the man. She doesn't exist so that way Perry Mason can win. She's a part of the team, and she is needed. And he admits that that the team needs her. Eventually, it's a team of three. It's always a team of three, right? And so, but yeah, she has her own life. She has her own problems outside of the job. Like everybody has a personal life that they're juggling with the case. So like Perry Mason, of course, he's separated from his wife and he has his son, and the cases are quite public. So sometimes his son gets bullied because his dad is the lead defense attorney on this big case where everybody hates the criminals who are charged with the crime. And so like that's a plot point in season 2. And then Della Street, Juliet Rylance's character, she has her own love interests, and she is again trying to process everything she's learning about the case and sort of trying to go out and be who she is. And she's trying to date, I don't want to say she's cheating on her girlfriend. That's what she's doing. I don't like it at all, but she's cheating on her girlfriend, and I don't think it's going to end well. It's not going to end well. Anyway, Della Street, I've spoiled it. She's cheating on her girlfriend. Everybody knows in season 2. It's terrible. It's utterly terrible.
She's gay in 1932.
Yeah, I know. There's speakeasies and whatnot, and private affairs and whatnot. Nobody knows, obviously, but it's not important, Matt. It's not important. She's cheating on his girlfriend. She's cheating on her girlfriend.
It sucks to be a woman.
Yeah, but she's cheating on her girlfriend. Why she gotta do that? I don't know. Anyway, I don't like it. Either way.
Well, they can't make it be the main guy. He's got too much going on.
Well, he's separated from his wife. It's complicated.
Exactly.
Look,
too much going on.
But basically, all right. Two out of three. You got Perry Mason, you got Della Street, then you got Paul Drake, right? And that's the 3, right? Perry Mason and Della Street not sleeping together, but they're each sleeping around. They each got people they're sleeping around with, right? And then Paul Drake, he's got a wife and kids. Okay, He's got a wife and kids, and he's trying to get by as a black man, as a black cop in 1932, right? It's not going well for him, okay? But that's where he is. He's a black cop in 1932. It's just good. It's a good show. I like the drama. I like the case is interesting. Like it's similar to Goliath, if we've ever talked about it, where because it's one case for an entire season, we haven't talked about it. Okay, we'll talk about it some other time. Because it's one case for an entire season, they really got to dive deep into each character, not just like the main characters, but the conspiracy that's going on. What are you doing? What are you doing?
Just scooting in.
Okay.
I'm settling in.
All right. But basically, there's a conspiracy. And you got to learn about what the crime was, and it's slowly being pieced together. And they don't reveal everything, so you don't know what the conspiracy is. So part of the fun of the show is kind of like the next reveal. What key piece of information are they going to reveal this episode, right? About the larger conspiracy and about the crime that occurred and how it relates to these other characters who are sort of like in the background but seem very powerful, you know?
Are there twists? Is it twisty?
Yeah, it's twisty. Let's see. Yeah, it's twisty. It's pretty twisty. The first season, oh my god. The first season,
don't give any twists away.
I don't want to get, you're right. I don't want to give any twists away. That's why I'm struggling to come up with stuff. But like season 1's good. Season 2's great so far. But like season 1's got like a church at odds, right? A church divided. It's got corrupt cops. It's got, again, a missing infant. Like it's dark. It's noir. It's LA noir.
What's the set design like?
Oh, it's 1930s. It's pretty good. Set design's good.
Yeah,
it's a
it's
period
good
piece. Yeah, I love it. And I love it how like it is LA. It takes place in LA, and they say that.
Is it? I don't know what it is. Is it a thing where
What?
I'm just tired of it? It's like you get LA in modern day, obviously.
Yeah.
You get it between modern day and what, the 70s?
Yeah.
And then other than that, anything before that, it's Depression era. It's the 30s. That's all.
Yeah.
That's always what you get.
Well, yeah, you get the 30s, you get the 20s, the 30s, the 40s, the 50s, right? That
No, but I'm saying in like movies and stuff and TV, you get anywhere between the 70s and now.
Mm-hmm.
But anything before that, it's always Depression era.
Yeah. I mean, not much happened in LA. everything that was interesting, right? In that era, in that century, really, like that middle, like 40s, 50s, I'm not sure much happened there. Like, when did Cesar Chavez die? Anyway, it's like the Prohibition era, the Depression, a lot of shit happened in LA, right? So again, you have the Great Depression. First of all, like you had a huge influx of migrant workers from other states, right? Not immigrant workers, migrant workers, because of the Dust Bowl. So you have all these like poor white people, right, trying to cram into California with all the rich white people, few rich Mexicans, and all the poor Mexicans, right? Or I should say like Latino Americans who have just always been there, right? And you're right, like they don't do any other period other than like the Great Depression because so much happened there, right? So they talk about like in season 2, like I just love how like they name drop specific cities in Los Angeles. Like Los Angeles is a county, and they almost never cover that in the media, in movies and TV shows, right? They never cover that Los Angeles is a huge place made up of multiple cities, and it's just small towns all crammed next to each other, and for some reason none of it's walkable, but it's like they mention
shot.
Yeah. So like they mention Vernon, right? Which is a city in Los Angeles that I'm familiar with. I'm very familiar with it. And apparently in the 1930s, it was just like, it was a Hooverville. It was a migrant camp, that it was all shanties. That's all it was back in the day. And I didn't know that. I'm sure if I Google it, it's probably going to be the case because there's a number of those areas. Now, Vernon is just like an industrial city. Just there's nothing but factories there, nothing but warehouses and factories there, right?
Cancer.
And it's just nice to. It's just nice when they're like, okay, because usually like when stuff like takes place in Hollywood, they'll say Burbank, right? Or they'll say Hollywood. Like people, they sort of make it seem like Hollywood and LA are two different places, but Hollywood is still within Los Angeles County. Like Hollywood is a part of LA, and then no one ever mentions Santa Monica, unless they're talking about Hollywood, right? And then up north they name drop those cities all the time.
I feel like you get more of it. Well, especially Burbank now.
Yeah, and then
the Valley.
Yeah.
The Valley.
But then I'll watch Perry Mason and they'll talk about Pasadena and Glendale, which they'll never mention in any other show, even though that is up north. Like, it's just nice that like, okay, yeah, they know where they're at. Like you can map out where all these different locations are, right? Especially like where the Hall of Justice is in Los Angeles, in LA proper, right? It's hilarious that there's a building called the Hall of Justice.
Well, isn't there always?
There always is, but I just find that hilarious. The Hall of Justice. I love it. Just love
That's
it.
where Superman lives.
Exactly. That's where Superman lives. Oh my god. And Aquaman just sort of visits.
What's that big fancy building in the middle of downtown, right?
I think it is fancy, yeah. I think it's fancy. There's a few fancy buildings downtown LA. Right? And then but yeah, it's just nice that like it actually like name drop the specific places where they're going and where they're at. Oh yeah, and like they mention Watts. What?
You must have really liked LA Noire.
I did not really get into it, the game, all that much. Like it was weird. It was a weird game.
Real locations.
I guess so. I'd have to relook at that map again. I'd have to look at that map again because I'm not sure if that was the case. But in the show, they talk about like they mentioned Watts, right? And how not very often is it mentioned that like Watts was a swamp where you could fish for catfish. Like that's unheard of. Like most people nowadays don't know that. Like people who grow up around here, who grew up in Watts, they probably don't know that Watts used to be a swamp, right? There's parts of Los Angeles that were a desert. And there's other parts of Los Angeles that were swamps that had water. And
LA is disgusting.
LA is disgusting, but it used to not be all pavement, right? And there used to be actual water, which was great, but never fucking hit. Like I'm not far from Watts. Like there's swamps and there's swamps and Watts. Does that rhyme? No. Anyway, I don't know, I just really love the show. I really love the show. But
I think you're about to hit your limit on
what
detective shows.
Am I? I don't think so.
I feel like it's definitely more than two.
Yeah, it's.
Well, that's the thing. You're like trying to describe what's so good about it, and I'm sure it is very good. It's very solid, but it's just it's another dark crime show.
Yeah. It is. You're right. I guess I never realized how much I like crime shows. Like I'm not into crime documentaries, you know. You got your crime documentaries, right? And then you have your cop shows, right? Your copaganda. And then you have what is it? Brooklyn Nine-Nine is in a funny spot where it's still technically copaganda.
It's Cops. No, Cops the TV show.
Cops the TV show. Yeah, that was reality show.
Bad boy.
What you don't do. Anyway, so yeah, you have Cops, which is reality TV, right? Then you have Forensic Files, right? Which is not really is it a documentary? It's a documentary series. And that's easy to fall. I've only seen like 2 episodes, but boy, are they easy to just fall into.
Well, there was such a big boom, like when CSI. Remember when CSI first came out?
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Huge, and I liked the show. I watched it. It was good. And then it had children. It spawned.
It did spawn. I think the original CSI was in Las Vegas, and
Yeah.
I only remember one episode. Well, I remember two things, one episode and another thing where like, again, like it's like every episode they're using the running gag was every episode they're using semen to find the culprit, and they would just find his semen, and I think in one episode they didn't find semen, right? They didn't find semen, and all they found was like a condom wrapper, and they're like, the bastard used a condom and he flushed it down the toilet. So they didn't have any semen to use to catch the guy.
Is it really CSI's writing, or is it really just humanity? We keep putting semen everywhere.
I think it's their writing. It's I don't know. There was another episode that had to do with little people, right? There was a little people convention in Las Vegas. You remember that episode?
I do. I don't know if it like poorly depicts little people, but the guy who had a normal sized torso but shorter limbs was like looked favorably upon, like he was more attractive than the other little people or something.
Yeah, like it did try to like go into, I forgot about that. Like it tried to go into like explain certain things apart, like about little people's culture. But I just remember that like it was the dad who murdered the boyfriend. So it was a little person, an older little person guy who killed a young little person. I think because his daughter, the older little person, his daughter, she was not a little person, right? And
oh yeah,
yeah, but then she decided to shack up with another little person, and the dad decided to kill the boyfriend, who's a little person, because he's like, I just remember he's like, it was a 1 in 4 chance that she, like he's talking about his own daughter's birth. He's like, it was a 1 in 4 chance that she wasn't a little person, and she wasn't, and he says, thank God. And he says, like, I was not gonna allow her to make another little person. Like, it's so backwards and weird, like such a weird episode, like a weird psychology for that character who's just like, I guess the point of the episode was that like, or the point of the character was that the stigmatism of being a little person was so strong, and that it resulted like in self-hatred for this character that he wouldn't allow his grandchild to be a little person, like his potential grandchild to be a little person, and so he killed the boyfriend.
Did you say the stigmatism?
What is it? The stigma?
Isn't it just stigma?
It's stigma. Stigmatism, the eye thing, right?
You're talking about eyeball.
Oops. Anyway.
The guy was also blind. He needed glasses.
He was also blind. He killed the wrong little person. Anyway, it's...
They're so little.
Oh, my God. But, you're right. I just like... I mean, everybody loves a good crime story.
Yeah, there's always been crime shows.
Yeah.
I think it's one of those things we just live vicariously through.
Yeah. I mean, I'd never murder somebody, I hope. But I love to...
Well, no, you couldn't. Because if you were a murderer, you probably wouldn't care for crime shows.
I don't know. Is that seems like an interesting inverse. Like, if I was a criminal... No, you're right. Because...
find if there's criminal... If we know a criminal and see, hey, do you like crime shows?
No.
Nah. They get it all wrong.
I think I saw that in an episode of Mindhunter, where the whole point of that show, right, is that the FBI begins interviewing serial killers in order to understand serial killers. And I think it's either in that show or another movie where they interview a serial killer, and that's exactly what he says. He goes like, they get the books and the shows, they get it all wrong. Like, that's not how you do it. Like, but yeah, it's, again, you got Perry Mason. I would say is going back to Perry Mason. It's classic crime noir. I wouldn't even call it psychological. Mindhunter. I need to watch the second season of that one. That's a psychological. It takes place in the 70s, I believe.
I think that's what I'm saying. It's like, I love a good crime show too, but I've reached my limit
Mm-hmm.
for the most part. Like unless something good comes along, like I am aware of the term Mindhunter as
Yeah.
a title, but
Yeah.
I've never seen it, and it just in my mind it kind of falls into that pit of just all those crime shows that I know nothing about. It's just that whole giant list of crime
Mm-hmm.
shows, crime content that I just don't think I'll get into.
I think Mindhunter. I don't know if we'll give it an episode, but Mindhunter, because the problems with Mindhunter is that it's really dramatic. Like it's borderline melodramatic with how like self-destructive the main character is in his pursuit of this. So it gets like the story gets sort of kind of lost because the character gets kind of lost. Other than that, it's, I would say, a very unique crime show because I'm not even sure if there's like an active, like I'm trying to remember if there's like an active murderer running around that he's trying to catch, because he's really fighting, what the main characters are really fighting is that they're trying to change policy. They're trying to literally like change the FBI from the inside in order to improve it, because they feel that law enforcement is woefully behind on the times, and the serial killer is something new that the FBI needs to be at the forefront of, you know? So I think
Yeah,
that's what the show's really about.
I don't know.
I understand. I understand if like
I guess I'm not
pooped.
at my limit. It's just like it's hard.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I am. I'm just at a limit in my entire life. I've taken in a certain amount of crime shows, and I can still keep watching more. It's just I'm not seeking out new stuff. I'm not. I don't have that hunger. Like I
Yeah.
need more crime TV.
Crime. Well, I
Crime.
think
Good
give
stuff
yourself a
comes
break.
along, and
Give
I
yourself a
watch it.
break. Give yourself a break from crime. That's what
No,
you should do.
I do.
Yeah.
When I hear about a big crime show, that's what I'm saying. It gets filed away in my head. It's like, okay, that's right. Now I know that's what that show is. It's another crime documentary or something. Leave it to all those crime junkies. They love that stuff.
That's
I'll
true.
tell Josh about it.
That's true. It's the thing is though, like Perry Mason is not exhausting to watch. I find the show very interesting and I'm glued to it. Mindhunter, emotionally draining, exhausting to watch. Like you watch an episode or two and you're just like, I can't do this, Netflix. I can't do this anymore. I need
Yeah,
to.
tell me, how did you see Gone Girl?
Oh, I could not watch that movie.
I
Could not.
figured.
Yeah, I knew
That-
what the. I
That
knew
kind
what
of
it
stuff is
was.
draining.
It was draining. It was just so emotionally draining. Oh my god! But I couldn't finish that movie. Okay, because it's just like,
That's a good movie.
no, it's a good
Uh,
movie. It's just about like a terrible marriage.
I won't
Yeah.
say there's a good resolution, but it's a big resolution.
Yeah.
Like, it hits hard.
Yeah, I don't know if I should probably finish it, but yeah, I can understand how like crime shows can be draining, absolutely draining. Like, Forensic Files, great thing to. No, actually, no, it's not a great thing to fall asleep to. I tried to put it on because I figured it'd be a boring documentary series, right? Because I'm in a hotel. I just need something to like. I need noise to fall asleep to, and I figure like something boring and dry is usually.
Forensic Files.
I never seen it before. It just looked like an old. It was an old documentary from the '90s, documentary series from the '90s, right? And then there's like this episode is playing, and it's about like Legionnaire's disease. I'm like, is this a crime? I was like,
If someone's spreading it around.
no one's spreading it around. But it turns out like Forensic Files is just a much more broad title than I thought it was. There's an episode on Legionnaire's disease, and the reason why it's called Legionnaire's disease is because this mysterious disease. There was a Legionnaire's meeting, right? All these veterans of a war, right? I think in like the 40s, right? Veterans of 40s or 50s. I don't remember when, right? they all went to a hotel for a convention, a little Legionnaires meetup, right? A big one, right? And let me look up the details, right? So,
Well, a legionnaire is like a Roman military position,
uh,
like an officer. Pretty
yes,
sure, like that's the term.
yes, but there's also the American Legion, if you're familiar with it, right? It's a veterans association, and let's see here, Legionnaire's disease, right? So let's see here, signs and symptoms, causes, transmission, mechanism, prevention, treatment. I'm looking. Okay. Legionnaire's disease acquired its name in July 1976 when an outbreak of pneumonia occurred among people attending a convention of the American Legion at the Bellevue Stratford Hotel in Philadelphia. Of the 182 reported cases, mostly men, 29 died. On 18 January 1977, the causative agent was identified as a previously unknown strain of bacteria, subsequently named Legionella. And basically, again, like it says, 182 people showed up to this convention, 29 died, right? But 600. Yeah, so like it just appeared all of a sudden, right? It was just a new disease came up out of nowhere. It says here that between 1995 and 2005, over 32,000 cases of Legionnaires' diseases and more than 600 outbreaks were reported to the European Working Group for Legionella infections, right? So it was named after the first reported outbreak, which was at this hotel. And the Forensic Files episode is about like the research and the investigation into where the disease came from. And it says here that it's a bacteria, right? It's a bacteria that causes pneumonia. But the weird thing, the interesting thing about it was that this bacteria and this pneumonia bacteria, whatever, came from the fucking air conditioner. That was it. There's this bacteria, the air conditioner.
Perfect crime.
The air conditioner, yeah. God damn it, Mother Nature strikes again. Anyway,
No, it was us. Mother
Oh my
Nature
God.
didn't create air conditioning.
oh, it was the air conditioning industry. I knew it. Anyway, so basically, what happens is there's an air conditioning unit on the roof of this hotel, right? And this bacteria, though, there's liquid runoff from an air conditioner, right? There's just water that runs off the vents, off the fans, off the fucking however it fucking works, right? And the water pools inside the air conditioner, right? And it pools, and then the bacteria grows in that pool, and then it starts to, as it naturally evaporates,
And
right?
then the maintenance guy comes by and he drinks it and then he spits it into the air conditioner.
Actually, no. So, because air conditioners have like exhaust, right? Exhaust vents, and as the bacteria-ridden water evaporates, it's then propelled out into the city onto the sidewalk in front of the hotel. So as all of these people walk into the hotel and meet each other, some of them get infected and they all start spreading the bacteria around to each other, just shaking hands, right? Sharing drinks and whatever. And then that leads to 182 reported cases. And then 29 of them died. And one of the guys that they interviewed said, he's like, I ain't going back out there. He's like, he survived a war. He's like, I survived a war, and I ain't ever going to another American Legion meeting ever again. Like,
Yeah, I'm sure that didn't do very well for
yeah,
the Legion.
yeah. But anyway, I say all this and I describe this whole episode of Forensic Files because I wasn't able to fall asleep. It was just a really good fucking show, and I didn't know that. I didn't know Forensic Files was good. But to your point, Matt, I really do like crime shows. I think I need to mix it up. I need to get into some new genres.
That's what I'm saying. I think we hit your limit. You gotta wait at least 6 months till you can do another one.
Oh my god, how many episodes is that? 6 times 4? 24? 20 in 24 episodes? I can't talk about another crime show for 24 episodes.
Well, you're only responsible for half of those.
Oh my, that's true. Oh, you son of a bitch. Okay. Okay. I see what you're saying. Okay. I did the math wrong in my head there for a second.
There are two of us.
There are two of
Okay,
us.
and then we're gonna bring someone else in, and they're gonna talk about it.
Thank
Content.
God, because my list is getting shorter. And so, what else am I watching?
Isn't it always?
It is always. Dungeons and Dragons were good. Do you want to talk about Dungeons and Dragons?
No.
Okay. No.
No, we can't. No, but I had something I wanted to say.
Oh, okay.
And I've been holding this in
Yes.
for weeks.
Okay.
I think months. It was like right in January. I made a discovery.
Yes.
And I knew it was specific to you, and I've wanted to tell you, and I was like, I'll tell it on the show.
Mm-hmm.
And now is that time. Josh, I found your... Well, I suppose it could be a doppelganger.
Oh my God.
I found your doppelganger, but it's not an exact, doppelganger in terms of looks. I know that usually refers to just looks, someone who looks just like you. And although he does look very... I'll say it's a celebrity doppelganger.
Okay,
but
who's this?
It's not just looks, because he's much older, so, you know...
Oh my God. Okay.
But...
Give me the name.
Knows, maybe in a few years.
Give me the name.
You never know. But no, I think much more, it's a spiritual doppelganger as well. He's got very similar energy to you. At least his character in this TV show.
Give me the name.
Give me the wretched name.
Give me the name.
Have you seen... I don't even remember the show.
Oh my God.
You know what? I'm gonna drag it out longer.
Don't drag it out longer. Come on. I was trying to do like a fake spit take, and I was holding a cup to my face forever, and then you're just like, no, maybe it's like, God.
All right. Well,
what? Give me the name.
No, I've already ruined it.
Give me the name.
Fine. John Larroquette.
How do you spell that?
I assume it's French. Larroquette.
There it is. John
Listeners,
Larroquette.
please look it up for yourself, because I'm curious to know.
This guy.
Think about it. No. Okay, now. What are you looking at? The Wikipedia page?
No, I'm looking at the fucking image search. Oh my God, this guy. Are you talking about Night Court?
Yeah.
Night Court. I have to see Night Court. Oh my God,
Okay. You're looking at the image search.
I'm looking at the image search. I can see it.
Click on any picture of him with a beard.
With a beard. Okay.
And tell me that's not you.
Let me see. Okay, I have to type in. Yeah. Okay, with a beard.
And also put it up on the put the window up on the Discord on the stream here, so viewers can watch it as well.
It is. Viewers can watch this now. Hold on. How come there's nothing here with a beard? There it is. There's him with the beard.
About?
Yeah, there he goes. It took forever for a search result to show up with a beard. I could sort of see it. Yeah.
Because Night Court, it basically did a reboot, but John Larroquette was on the original show, and he's on the reboot.
Yeah.
I've never seen any of it, except for I was visiting my dad earlier this year, and he watches a lot of TV, and he was watching Night Court, because he watched the original show back in, whatever, the 80s.
Yeah.
And I saw this actor, John Larroquette, and I was like, the way he talks, the way he looks, that's Josh.
The way he moves.
It is, though. Okay, he's a big, tall guy.
Yeah.
Already got that going.
I'm not that tall, but
he's kind of got that squinting, the
glasses. I'm half Asian, yeah. Okay.
He's got that. No, that's not what I mean. He's just got that big face with that big beard. That's Josh.
That's kind. That's very kind. I like this guy. I forget what he's been in, but
and I mean he's a good-looking guy. He's a fairly successful actor, and I thought this guy, his energy, it's much more how he talks. He's got like a deep booming voice.
Yeah,
but he's got almost kind of like this self-deprecating humor. Because the one episode that I caught a little bit of when I was visiting my dad, he was. he was interested in like someone who was at court, a client, just someone who was there for something, and just there was just like a little love scene because he's one of the defense attorneys, I think, or a prosecutor or something.
Yeah.
So he's a recurring. He's a co-star. He's
Yeah.
on the show all the time.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, and then that was his kind of the B story for his character's plot. That episode was he was going on this date with a woman, and it doesn't go perfect. Basically, he gets in his own head about it, and he ruins it, even though the date's going fine. And I was like, "That's Josh."
You son of a bitch.
Tell me I'm wrong.
You're not wrong. I'm checking. I'm trying to see if he was in Richie Rich. Like, let's see here.
Let's see what's he in.
Texas Does he narrate all the Texas Chainsaw Massacre movies? Let's see here. The Practice, all right. Or is he just known for that? Let's see. The West Wing. Okay, he's in The West Wing. All right, I've probably seen him in that. Let's see.
See that.
He had his own show. Tales from the Crypt. Okay. Night Court. 193 episodes of Night Court. Wow.
Yeah, no, it's a big part of what he's done. I think that's what he's most well known for.
Mm-hmm. Let's see here. Remington
And they brought
Steele.
it back, and he's an older gentleman.
Mm-hmm.
He dresses very well. He looks good. And I was like, that's Josh. If Josh had a fuller beard, and he had gone completely Silver Fox, and then this is Josh.
And if I had he does narrate all the Texas Chainsaw Massacre movies.
Yeah,
He narrated the first one. And like 2 of the remakes, I think. Oh my god.
Why not?
Why not? Why not? What's this?
Josh, I
Love
found
Death.
your celebrity doppelganger.
What is that? I didn't click that. Hold on a second. Okay. Oh, okay. Here we go. See the list. All right. I'm being distracted by all the ads. All right. And then
The
my
John Larroquette ads.
Well, no, there was an ad for top picks for April, right? I don't know if I'm gonna see Air.
I keep getting ads for that too, and I'm just like, I don't care about this. I don't want to see it.
I don't really care either. I mean, some people think it's really important. I heard someone at work describe it as like pivotal and important to culture, and I'm like, I don't know. But
I didn't even know that about it. I was just like, sure, Ben Affleck, J-Lo, Matt Damon. Just another movie with all of those people.
Is J-Lo in it? I didn't know J-Lo's in it. Not that changes my opinion or anything. But
Did you see Shotgun Wedding?
I did not see Shotgun Wedding. I did see Ford versus Ferrari, right?
It's J-Lo in Ford v Ferrari?
No, but that's another Matt Damon biopic
Uh-oh.
where he plays somebody like important, or like he played like Shelby. I forget the guy's name. His last name's Shelby.
It's Carol Shelby.
Carol Shelby. And that was a good movie. He did that with Christian Bale. But
I think for some reason, I missed out on that. I think I was still working at the movie theater. I could have seen it, and I just kept missing the chance to. I think I have it queued up somewhere on whatever service it's on, and I keep wanting to watch it, and I never did. But I've seen other similar movies. What was that one with Thor?
Chris Hemsworth? Rush. Yeah.
That
Rush
was
is
really
good. Rush is
That was a
good.
good one.
Yeah. And then, like, because the guy who plays Daniel Brühl, I don't know how to pronounce his name. German actor. He plays Niki Lauda in that, who basically buys his way into Formula One, right? And is exceptional at it, right? But
What? I mean, I wouldn't phrase it. I don't think he bought his way in. I think he forced his way in based on the movie, he forced his way in with a lot of determination and a lot of technical knowledge and skill.
yeah, no, he had to. He had to literally like give the company that he would race for, right? He had to give him a shit ton of money to do it. Like he basically took out his entire like all of his inheritance that he would claim, right? He basically cashed out of that early and put it all into racing. He's like, everything that my great grandfather, my grandfather, my father would give me in inheritance, they've given it to me now, and I'm just gonna fucking do this. I'm just gonna go race. So he literally bet everything on that career, and it paid off for him. But in the movie, right, he nearly dies in a ball of fire, right? And fun trivia thing is that the real Niki Lauda, right? He did not realize or did not consider how much emotional trauma and pain he put his wife through until he watched that movie. Until he went to the theater and watched it with her. That's when it clicked for him. It was like, oh, I really hurt you when that happened to me because I put myself at risk like that. Which is, I don't know if that's funny or wholesome or not, but it's nice that he had that realization, you know? What are you doing? What are you looking through? What are you typing?
Oh, I thought I was off a frame, but that's my list.
Your list?
I was adding something to my list.
What are you adding to your list?
I added Top Gun. No, not Top Gear / the Grand Tour.
Oh yeah, I got the Grand Tour is great. I could do an episode on Grand Tour, and Top Gear, but just their traveling.
So now we can't.
Oh, you know what I haven't seen? I haven't seen Clarkson's Farm. I don't know if I don't know. That guy's a jerk. I don't know.
He is, but he's a famous jerk.
He's a famous, funny jerk.
It's fun. Have you seen? It was between seasons, and really the only thing I watch those guys in is Grand Tour now. Yeah. But there was a special James May did on Japan.
I haven't. Our Man in Japan. I haven't seen that yet. No.
There was, and I actually watched it with my fiance, who doesn't watch the car shows with me because she's not into cars. Yeah. But we watched that, and it was just so funny.
Yeah, James May is hilarious. I love James May.
All three of them, when they really hit the humor, it's like Monty Python. Something about those Brits. They just nail it with the stupid humor. Even though they make poop jokes just like us sometimes.
Yeah, but they make penis and poop jokes, and they're men in their 60s. I think some older.
It's just getting funnier. Yeah. But in Japan, there was this one segment where James May, he does a bunch of tourist stuff, but there's one area he goes to, and you can actually rent out this little robot or this little thing. I don't know. I forget if you wear it or it's like an actual little robot that walks around with you and you carry it around, but it talks for you. Like it will kind of guide you through where you are. And you can converse with it. You can talk to it and say, you can ask it questions like, what is this place? Or where are we? Where should I go now? That kind of stuff. But you can tell it your name, and it's not like a super polished, it's meant for tourists, but I don't think they have the English nailed down. And he kept trying to tell it, my name is James, because it can learn your name and call you by name. Yeah. And it just couldn't get James. So, and they just kept trying. He's like, okay, how about Jim? My name is Jim. And the stupid robot is, hi, Bim. Is your name Bim? It doesn't sound funny the way I describe it. It's just...
No, that sort of shit always happens to him, and I love it.
Funny.
I love how that he just encounters dysfunction, and then he runs with it because he has no other choice, really. But
they kept, and then they just went about the episode. That was a funny little bit.
Yeah.
But then, for the next 10 minutes, they're going around. They're walking through this area, and just every once in a while, you'd forget about the stupid robot, and then they'd ask it a question, and it would go, "Hi, Bim, you're looking at this temple."
Oh my god, what was it? I love the bit he did in Grand Tour. Right, they had a competition to see who can go viral, who can make a viral piece of content. Right, And
Oh yeah.
James May decided to do an unboxing video, right?
Oh
But,
god.
but what he did you see that one? He
I've seen all of Grand Tour. I must have, but I
he
don't
had a
remember.
whole car boxed. And then it's just a video of him unboxing a car. But I have to go back and watch it because there's one big box for the whole car, right? But I think he has to go get inside the car and start unboxing individual parts of it. Like he has to unbox the steering wheel. And he ends up winning because people love unboxing videos for some reason.
Well, they do.
Yeah.
I love a good unboxing video.
Oh my god, that's just great. All right, I think we're at our time here. Let's bring it to a close for now. And hopefully Matt and I have convinced you to check out Perry Mason. I mean,
Am I responsible for that? I'm not responsible for that because it's your cell.
that's right. I'm
You
solely
can either
responsible.
convince me or not.
I don't
But
think
it's
I've
not
convinced you.
necessarily me convincing people.
I don't think I've convinced you. I mean, if you are like, I was in the mood for a period piece, for a crime period piece. I rewatched all of Boardwalk Empire, and I wanted more. And so Perry Mason's on.
That's another one I've never seen a minute of. It's just more crime.
It's good. It's good. Not as good as The Wire. And I can do an episode on that in 24 episodes. I'll do an episode of Boardwalk Empire. But
Or The Wire. I haven't actually seen The Wire.
oh, great. Okay, The Wire much better. Much better. But yeah, hopefully I've convinced you to watch Perry Mason. It's just a solid LA crime noir conspiracy trial show. You know, it's got the murder, it's got the twist, it's got the drama, right? It's saucy, it's steamy, you know, it's all that good stuff. Yeah. It's all that good stuff, right? And it's on HBO Max right now. All right? I think it comes out every Wednesday at the date of this recording. It's halfway through season 2. I really recommend the show. It's a phenomenal cast. Really good characters. But hopefully, I hope you enjoy that show. And if you've enjoyed this podcast, consider following us. We're mainly on YouTube and Spotify. And
No,
still,
now it's in order.
what do you mean?
Follow us.
Yeah, follow us on YouTube.
It's in order.
Yeah, it
Follow.
is in order. Follow us on YouTube and Spotify. It's a call to action. This has been Consume Content. We will come up with a better outro some other time, but we hope you like this episode. All right? Stay safe out there. It's scary. It's crime everywhere. Bye.